Hey guys and occasional girls, my name is GrrrVahrrr and this is F.E.A.R 3. I played F.E.A.R 1 and its awful expansions a long time ago. In fact, they were so awful I wouldn't play F.E.A.R 2 even under a death threat. But I've heard F.E.A.R 3 does things a little bit differently, so I thought, what the hell, let's give it a try. I'm an open-minded person and I won't judge it before I finish the bloody thing. As usual, I'll try to recap the story first, but who am I kidding? F.E.A.R's story is non-existent and resembles a bigger clusterfuck of nonsense than any indie dev high on acid can generate, with plot holes so huge a classic Mario level could only wish it had death pits that big. But I will try, so here goes. An evil company called Armacam, with the help of an evil scientist Harlan Wade, gets a hold of a super psychic girl Alma, who gives birth to two brothers that should be super psychic commanders of an army of super psychic soldiers, because no one has invented the radio in F.E.A.R universe yet. But surprisingly, something goes wrong. One of the brothers is a failure, the other one is a homicidal maniac. The failure son, with no name referred to only as Point Man, kills his brother Fatal in the end of F.E.A.R 1. In the end of F.E.A.R 2, some bloke named Beckett, who is a clone or something, rapes Alma, making her pregnant with another super psychic child. Just don't ask. And in F.E.A.R 3, Point Man and the ghost of Fatal, I'm not even kidding, are trying to find Alma and kill her unborn child. I actually don't understand a thing what's going on in F.E.A.R 3, and the reason is characters are not only disconnected from one another and from the world itself, but even game locations are glued together by spit and are ready to fall apart in a mess what they really are. It can only be achieved if the story was written by entirely different writers who live in different countries, speak different languages, and are possibly of different species, while the editor is a freaking alien. Let's go through characters. Each one of them has a single feature. Hell, even the 90s action heroes had more complexity than they do. Point Man cannot talk.
You need to act immediately. Stop this from happening.
As if she knows anything.
Fatal, violent asshole.
Say hello to Mother.
Jin, a woman. Harlan Wade, evil scientist who likes child abuse.
Show me you have some worth.
Beckett, a rapist and an idiot. No, seriously, he screams at you for several levels.
You are a weak biological failure. We will see to it you are wiped from existence like you should have been years ago.
But when you find him, he doesn't recognize you, being all depressed.
Who are you? Who are you?
Everything what is going on you can only take as a fact. Don't ask questions, cause if you do, your brain may explode.
It is true, brother. Conception.
I finished the game twice and I still don't understand why did we want to get to the tower that was pulsating, meaning that Alva is inside, while it turned out that she's in a totally different place. I don't understand what was the point of finding Beckett, possibly to find out the location of Project Origin, but it seemed that brothers should know it anyway, especially Fatal.
A ghost in the flesh.
And I don't get that creep monster that follows you around. In the end it turns out it is Wade who became a monster, but why? It is not an umbrella corporation and there is no T-virus around. By the way, he's also the final boss.
Destroy him.
I can't take it anymore, fuck the story, there is no story, developers took a big dump on it, why can't I do the same? Why am I, the player, trying to make sense of their shit? Let fans do that, that is what they're for. Actually, does F.E.A.R even have fans? Wow, that's a good question. I just can't imagine what an emotional Frankenstein you should be to be touched by F.E.A.R's story to the point of becoming its fan. That's a scary thought. Okay, let's forget about the story and check out the gameplay. F.E.A.R 3 was advertised as a co-op-focused game, which is total absolute bullshit, trying to hide how bland, generic and unimaginative half of the experience is. I finished the game twice in single player, once for every character, and I haven't felt the need for another player to help me even once. Left 4 Dead is a co-op-focused game. Killing Floor is a co-op-focused game. F.E.A.R 3 is just a game that can be played with a friend. Yes, I'm sure it is more fun in co-op, but everything is. Going shopping with your girlfriend can be a miserable experience, but bring a friend to make fun of her and you are set for a joyful ride. Watching grass grow can be boring, but have a friend with a couple of beers with you and you'll get more enjoyment than playing F.E.A.R 3 in single player. But it is not completely true. There are 2 characters that play differently. Point Man is a generic soldier with his stupid guns, which surprisingly sound not that bad, grenades which sound like farts of a man with an extremely low self-esteem, and wall shagging which he can't do without or his health won't regenerate. Oh, and he has bullet time, which ceased to be cool since Keanu Reeves did it.
Shit, he's loose!
While Fatal is a glorious, handsome god of death, and also a ghost. He can't use guns, yet bullets somehow hit him. Plot, sense, nope, but whatever. His main attack is throwing blood at people, at least that's what I think it is. Secondary is a forced choke stolen straight from Darth fucking Vader himself, and as an icing on a cake goes body possession and exploding enemies from within. Fatal is the reason this video exists, and one more stone in the face of F.E.A.R 3 co-op focus. Who in the sane mind would ever want to play as Point Man in co-op? He's boring! Watching my cat slip is more exciting than playing as him, while fast, visceral gameplay of Fatal is really enjoyable. After finishing the game as Point Man, I just wanted to play a level as Fatal and go to sleep. But I ended up finishing the game. Took me 3 hours, but it was a good 3 hours. To get to them though, you have to finish same levels as Point Man first. And his playthrough took me 5 hours and an hour of cave story, because F.E.A.R was unbearably boring. I almost fell asleep around level 6. By the way, I think developers couldn't decide if they want the game to be co-op or competitive, because there are 2 endings and the one you get depends on the performance of each player. But I would imagine Fatal would win every time. I beat every score I got with Point Man on my second playthrough with Fatal, and the ending is as bland as you can imagine. Either way, Alma dies and her child stays with a brother who earned more points. Also, the game is balanced worse than a drunken horse in a canoe. Playing as Point Man, half of the weapons are overpowered. Look at this gun that explodes enemies' heads in one burst. Or the shield. The shield. I managed to shield bash to death the strongest type of enemy in the game without dying. From the first try. As Fatal, there is nothing stopping him. Everything dies under the strength of his psychic Bendy Spoon's blood magic. Co-op! Fatal doesn't need that meatbag of a Point Man. I blasted through the game in 3 hours. I played indies longer than that. And only because he's immensely overpowered. Just look at this. Come to think of it, that might be a trap. Developers wanted to bore you out of your mind on your first playthrough, so you would think playing as F.E.A.R is the best thing ever. You cunning bastards. And I admit it was fun, but in hindsight these 3 hours were not worth 5 hours of boredom. It looked more as a compensation from the developers, a small treat for taking their unwanted child to the cinema while they dive into forbidden pleasures.
Why we always gotta set up...
Christ, you didn't hurt yourself, did you?
Oh shit, I almost forgot! F.E.A.R 3 is a scary game. F.E.A.R 3 is a scary game. Best joke in the video. No, really, it tries to scare you. Have you ever seen a child in bed sheets pretending to be a ghost? That is how scary F.E.A.R 3 is. Even less than that. First of all, scary and shooty parts are always divided and you can't die during scary bits. They are like theme park rides. And how can I be scared if I'm dual wielding Uzis? As F.E.A.R, the notion itself is laughable. I explode people from the inside into chunky bits. It is like trying to scare Freddy Krueger. Funny thing, while playing as F.E.A.R during scary bits and cutscenes, you are still referred to as Point Man. Lazy.
Your child had spent in the shadow of your cellmate, never knowing he was your own homicidal brother. Your entire family are nothing but monsters.
Overall, the game is worth getting only if you have high patience or can find a way to play F.E.A.R immediately, and only if it is heavily discounted. Pointman's gameplay. Pointman. See, even the developers cared so little about him they wouldn't even give him a name. His gameplay has every single wrong thing about modern FPS. Guns with no recoil, wall humping, regenerating health, and corridor levels painted grey with a loving touch of brown. Well, F.E.A.R's gameplay is a fun power fantasy of a ghost with supernatural powers, yet so short and easy you have to think twice before getting the game solely for it. And of course an idiotic story. Which, come to think of it, is the only co-op feature the game has, because nothing is funnier than nitpicking and making fun of a dumb plot with a friend and possibly several people watching. But be sure a friend knows nothing about the game, or he would want to play F.E.A.R and ruin the game for you. The name's GrrrVahrrr, and I shall see you from within my next video.
Goodbye, goodbye, see